It's an absolute pleasure and an honor to be here today amongst all of you. I get to talk about community. There's nothing I love more about community. And as someone who's been part of community for all my life, to have the stage today and share with you some of my observations about it is an absolute privilege. So I appreciate your presence. What I've learned about community over the years is that there are some communities, and in all communities, there are things that are different about them, and that there are some things that all communities have in common. In particular, there's one thing in all the communities that I've been in that I've found routinely be a pain point, an itch, a frustration, something that everyone has some beef about. My friends, I am talking about dirty dishes. You're laughing because you've been there or you've made that happen. You know that. Now, I know you might be wondering, this guy's talking about dishes, but hear me out on this a little bit. Great communities are like a clean sink. They only work when we all do the dishes. And it's so important that we all do the dishes, as that's just one minor way that we can show up in our community. Now, I've learned this. In particular, I've mentioned I've been part of many communities, but in particular over the last 8 years, I've been part of a community at the Center for Social Innovation. First as a member, and then most recently as a member of the staff, where I've had a leadership position and I've had the opportunity to steward and animate the culture there. And the thing that has come up more than any other issue in the community is people not doing the dishes. So I've been super fascinated about this, and I've watched our progress over the years as to what has been happening here. First, we started off with the sign that said, please do the dishes. Didn't work. Then we got super Canadian passive-aggressive, and we had another sign that said, please do the dishes, ... as if people knew where that was going. Then we got super aggressive, and we had a sign that had Christopher Walken's steely, cold blue eyes look at you and say, Christopher Walken wants you to do the dishes, will you? Didn't really work. What I did learn is what did work. A few of our staff actually held a community town hall about this topic quite recently. And the topic was what to do about the dishes. And the solution that came to the front from that conversation was one that I would have never thought of before. The solution was put rocks in the sink. And you can take that, by the way. When you put rocks in the sink, people don't want to put their dishes in there because there's a chance of it breaking and creating more work. Now, what's the lesson in that? Communities thrive when we create space for people to co-create with them. Communities thrive when the solutions don't come from the few, from the many. And our sense of ownership over things like the dishes and beyond come when we're invited to be part of the community and the solution. Now, another story I have for you, it comes about a couple years ago. A woman came up to me and she was indignant, and I thought, what could this be about? And she came up to me and she said, somebody improperly loaded the dishwasher. And I remembered in that moment a story that someone shared with me once where they told me that their family didn't have a dishwasher growing up because they couldn't afford one. And I relate that to that woman's experience because what I've noticed in healthy communities is that the sink always has multiple ways to wash the dishes. And the reason why that's important is because we have different experiences, different privileges, different ways that we're brought up. And accordingly, communities find multiple ways for us to access the tools and services within it. The third thing I want to share is less a story, but more an admission. I've left my dishes out before. I've done it. Sometimes I was in a rush. Sometimes I was actually just lazy. And I apologize. But you know what's so interesting? The dishes always get done. Why? I believe the reason why the dishes always get done is because in every community, there is people doing labor on behalf of others. In every community, there's people who are doing invisible labor. Sometimes that is manual, sometimes that is emotional. They're not just cleaning our dishes, they're taking care of us. They're not just taking care of us, they're holding space for others that we've hurt. I want you to know if you're one of those people, I appreciate what you have done. And I know the best way that I can honor what you have done for me is by washing my dishes. So my friends, I'm gonna take a leap of faith, and I wanna assume that all of you wanna be part of healthy, happy, harmonious communities. If you do, I want you to say yeah. Yeah. Let's try this again. If you wanna be part of a healthy, happy, and harmonious community, let's hear you say yeah. Yeah. Ooh, that felt good. Help me finish the sentence. Healthy communities are like a clean sink. They only work when we all wash the dishes. Thank you so much.